All right, y'all, welcome back to an Iron Receivers video. Today we got a video about how teenage Kobe Bryant used to work out and how his mindset used to be. And I'm gonna see if I can learn something from this video, and hopefully you can too. But let's see how Kobe thought about himself, how hard he worked before he was in the NBA, when he was a teenager. Let's see how he carried himself together, okay? Let's go.
Kobe was in high school. He followed a step-by-step process that allowed him to become the best player in the world. Now, he didn't exactly lay out the entire process, but he talked about it every now and then, and if you pieced it together, you could understand what it was, and I'm about to break it down for you. Within that process, there was something that he followed, which was the 100x rule, and this is the most overlooked aspect of his process. And before I tell you what the 100x rule is, you must understand every building block that he used. So then when you do apply the 100x rule, it will make sense and you'll be able to apply it properly.
Let's do it.
Within Kobe's entire process, there are 5 building blocks. And if you do not understand these 5 building blocks, the 100x rule will be completely useless. Building block number 1.
I'm curious to see what this 100x rule thing is.
Clear goals in mind. And once he accomplished those goals, he set new goals to accomplish, which kept him going.
I want to learn how to become the best basketball player in the world. And if I'm going to learn that, I got to learn from the best.
You set goals?
Always.
Always?
Always. When you're young, you really don't understand what goals are. You just say, okay, I want to get this move down pat. So you work on getting that move down pat. Then you work on another one. Then you have a goal of dunking. Then making your high school team. So you just kind of set goals as you go on. Right now, since there's been a goal that I've been reaching ever since I was 9th grade, just get to the NBA. Now that I've accomplished it, it's kind of like, okay, I've done that. Now it's time to set another one.
Building block number 2.
That's what I mean whenever I talk about intention in my videos. I've never seen this before, but like you can see by Kobe, he talked about mastering a move and then mastering another move. I've talked about this in multiple of my videos about watching your own film, knowing your own game, and then just going from there, seeing what your weakness is, seeing what your strength is, and then just work on that and get it as good as you possibly can. And I mean, I didn't know he said that, but that's how you train with intention. Okay, that's how you train the right way, and you just don't go to the field. And I know this is a basketball video, but you can apply these same principles to football. You don't just go to the field doing what you saw on the internet. You go to the field doing what you know will get you better, and you're practicing your weaknesses. Because if you go on the field 2 hours, for 2 hours just messing around with your friends, opposed to just a 45-minute session where you're locked in on a certain thing you want to master, that 45-minute session is going to beat the 2-hour session any day of the week.
Kobe got the best experiences possible and got as much of it as
great competition.
By playing
Yeah,
the best
this is a big one.
Older than him, whether they were in college or professional ranks.
I remember I used to play against Eddie when I was in 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, and he's basically seen me grow up. And I've seen him play at Temple all his years. And, we really went at each other even at that early age.
Really?
He's kind of, and he's took me under his wing even at that early age.
I walked in there one day and they always had trainers that were taping ankles, and I'm getting my ankles taped.
There's a thing called exposure. I don't know if it's called exposure therapy. I think I'm getting that completely wrong, but it's called exposure something. And it's whenever you play against you play against like lower competition, then you go play against we're football players, we go play against like NFL players, or we train against them or train with them. You get exposed to that whole nother level that you've never seen before. And then if you keep training with them, and if you keep training at a high intensity, a high competition level, it's gonna be easier for you to get to that level, because you know what it looks like in person. And so ever since I've been starting to train with more NFL players, like the dudes I train with, like they're funny, bro. Those dudes are hilarious. But I train with like pro players, some NFL players, and I'm exposed to that level. And so as I've been doing that, I've been getting way more explosive. I've been getting way faster and stronger just because like I'm training with them. It's a weird thing, but it's true. So get outside. Like if you're the best where you are, go find somebody that's better than you. It's gonna be hard, but go to the best gym, the best field. Go where the competition is at, and that's what gets you better. You can't just hit the field by yourself and expect that's the best thing for you, because it's not.
I'm going to jump in a game, and I'm looking out, I'm watching the game being played. And there's this dude out there, and he's like doing pretty ridiculous athletic stuff. You could tell he was like young, but he looked, kind of scrawny, but like striding out and like, playing against Eddie Jones. I'll never forget it. It was an all-star for the Lakers. And, they're going head to head pretty much. And I literally said to the trainer, like, oh, who's that guy? I thought he was going to say, oh, that's such and such. He plays at whatever college, whatever. He's like, oh, that's Kobe Bryant. That's Joe Bryant's son. I'm like, oh, okay. I said, how old is he? He goes, oh, he's 15. He's 15. Right. He's going to Lower Merion. Yeah, they think he's got a chance. I'm like, yeah, I think so.
Building block number 3.
That's funny.
Kobe copied the best players in the world.
Yep.
And grabbed things from their game.
I know we all seen that video of
make anything up.
Kobe and MJ back to back doing the same moves.
Growing up, I always try to dissect different players, even at an early age, whether it's Magic, Michael, Pippen, whoever. I try to take different parts of the game and put them into my game so I can be a well-rounded.
Do the same thing with football. Whatever sport you play. This is a sports channel. I say watch the best players. So you're a receiver, watch Devontae Adams, okay? Who else can you watch? Watch Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. Watch the dudes who are putting up the top numbers, okay? And not only that are putting up the top numbers, but have measurables like you, like they're the same height, like they're a similar speed, a similar build. Study those people. Don't just study the people that their routes look pretty, okay? Because there's a lot of people that make their routes look pretty, but they're not top 10 in the yards in the NFL. And so you're copying somebody that's not even top at what he does. It just looks pretty. But that's a conversation for another day. Copy the greats. You're running back, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry. Not everybody's going to be Derrick Henry, so I understand that. Who else? J.K. Dobbins. Shout out J.K. Dobbins. Watch him. Like study the good players, the great players, the players at the top. That's just who I named at the top of my head. Quarterback. You can look at Joe Burrow. Mahomes plays unorthodox as a quarterback. Joe Burrow a little more orthodox. Like study who you play like, who your favorite player is. Study who's at the top of the top. Okay, whatever position you play, whatever sport you play.
He surrounded himself with NBA players, NBA players.
What I talked about earlier.
Players, in order to get the mentoring that he needed to get to the next level.
I mean, I had people around me, since 9th grade. Because I knew that this was something that I wanted to do, or something I was considering since that time. So I kind of tried to prepare myself, leading up to that point. So I talked to as many NBA players as I could. I had my father there. So basically, when it came time to make the jump, I knew what I was getting into. Yeah. It wasn't a blindsided decision.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a slept-on one. I like that one. Now that he just said that, I just remember, like, I kind of talked about how in the exposure thing earlier in this video. But, like, now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't know that a lot of the NFL dudes I train with, some of them, like, they've been telling me stories about how it is in the league and about like funny stories about other star players, and like that's having good people around you, and like that's kind of what I talked about earlier. So I like that. I never really thought about
in himself and his own abilities,
like how they had made me better.
With the fact that he knew he had to get better and he knew he had to work on his game to continue to improve to reach the next level.
You happy with your game?
Just having the right people around, or just having confidence.
There's always little things that you can do better.
Always know.
Especially right now, coming into the NBA, it's a big jump. So you really have to keep on improving yourself on a daily basis. Keep trying to learn something new. Because in the NBA, you have a lot of games, a lot of practices, and you're not going to feel healthy every
See, one of the greats all time saying, you can always find ways to get better. Don't think you're perfect. Don't think you're perfect if this dude, Kobe Bryant, is always thinking how he can get better. Don't think you're good enough that you don't need to go work out. Because look, this dude's one of the top for basketball players all time. And you think you don't have to go work out because you're too good.
Even when you get to that point, you gotta keep on moving. Because there's always somebody out there who's working just as hard, if not harder than you are. As everybody else around me didn't expect me to do that. So in everybody's eyes, I guess it's a real big deal, which it probably is when once I get 40 or 50 and I look back. But right now, it's something that I knew that I could do. I just had to work for it. So since I've accomplished it, it was just basically something that I was just like, okay, I've done what I knew I could do.
Now that you understand the 5 building blocks that it takes to be great, you can apply the 100X rule in your practice routine. First, I'm going to tell you exactly what it is, and then I'm going to tell you why it works at the end. Simply put, the 100x rule means you must do the thing that you want to master 100 times each day in order to master it. No matter what that skill is, you must do it at least 100 times a day in order to get it down perfectly and make it translate to the game.
So I got a call, hey, what is Kobe doing over there? Oh yeah, he waking up at 3, at the gym at 3 o'clock. No, he ain't. Yeah, he is. I take a cab. Let's go. Let me see. Sit there. Oh, he here.
Wow.
Oh, he really here. So you see him now. I get to watch him how he works. Let me see how he works. He going through a full game live, battling, getting hit, doing the same move 300 times, 400 times. Doing the same move 300 times, 400 times.
This is the hardest part for people to grasp because they want to do so many different things during a workout. But when you're doing this, you got to understand the second part to it is to do it with the fundamentals and the basics of the game.
Oh, his workouts are all like makes. Like it's like one dribble, 1, 2, left, right, jump shot, make. You're making 15 of them, and then going to the right, doing the same thing, and then 2 dribbles. So like it was not complicated at all. It was just a lot of makes, and I was probably 90% hitting on these shots, and it still probably took me 2.5 hours in the gym to do this morning workout. I'm exhausted. I'm drenching wet. Like just. I mean, I was hitting shots. If I wasn't hitting shots, I would have been there for like 4 hours.
Crazy. This is crazy.
So here's exactly why that works, and then I'm gonna leave you with the last Kobe story. For number one, when you're doing the same thing over and over and over, it puts you in a flow state. And when you're in a flow state, your subconscious mind, or whatever you want to call it, is more susceptible to learning skills. And the reason you have to apply that to the fundamentals is because 99.9% of the game requires you to do everything fundamentally. And so that's just the case of what it is, and that's why it works. So here's the last Kobe story.
I had always heard this urban legend of how insanely intense Kobe's individual workouts were. Well, I figured now that I was on camp staff, this was my chance. This was my shot. I didn't say anything to him, and I didn't say anything to his trainer. I just sat down to watch. And for the first 45 minutes, I was actually shocked. For the first 45 minutes, I watched the best player in the world do the most basic footwork and offensive moves. Kobe was doing stuff that I had routinely taught to middle school age players. Now, this is Kobe Bryant we're talking about. This is the Black Mamba. So he was doing everything at an unparalleled level of effort and with unparalleled focus. He was doing everything with surgical precision. But the actual stuff he was doing was very, very basic. So later that day at camp, I went up to him again and said, Kobe, I don't understand. You're the best player in the world. Why are you doing such basic drills? And again, he was incredibly gracious and he smiled, but he said with all seriousness, why do you think I'm the best player in the world? Because I never get bored with the basics. I never get bored with the basics.
That's how it is. That's how it is. See how he's keeping the game simple. And I know this is basketball, but how can we apply this to football or whatever? Even like some people that watch my channel, they play soccer or whatever. How can we apply this to our situation? Is like, what's the most fundamental thing we can possibly do? Don't go, like I say this multiple times and I'm gonna always say it, is that don't go to the field and just try and do just a bunch of flashy stuff that you see on TikTok or like the flashy moves. Do the stuff that you see that works in the game and the most fundamental stuff. Like for receivers specifically, bro, master that little split release, master your rocker step. Okay, running backs, master the jump cuts in the hole, master like the footwork. That's the stuff that you got to do. And if it's the same drill every day, then that's just what it is. It's not gonna, if you can get to a point where you're doing the same drill every day because it's super fundamental and it gets boring, that's how you know you're getting better. That's how you know you're really locked in. Because bro, I used to, whenever I was going to my freshman year of college, I was just doing the same workouts on the field every time. And I'm not gonna lie, like a couple weeks before I went up to go to college, man, I got so bored. I was like, bro, I'm doing the same thing. So I had to like take I remember I took some time off just to because I feel like I was getting close to burning out. But then after I took that time off, like a couple days or so, I'm like, bro, I love the sport, and I hop right back into it. And whenever I got up to the college, man, my first day of college, that day was insane. And if y'all want to know about that story, let me know about my first day whenever I got onto campus. And it, like, the work showed that it was so boring and like a couple weeks ago. And then whenever I got to that first day on campus practicing with my team, bro, that showed me that it needs to get boring at some point because you do it so much. And so do the fundamentals so much, okay? Whether you play basketball, soccer, whatever you do, because you see that Kobe does it. He's doing stuff that middle school kids are doing, but he's just older and he's been doing it for a way longer time than a middle schooler has or can, okay? So hopefully you learned something in this video. I learned some stuff in this video. I know it's a football channel, but Kobe Bryant plays basketball, but we're all athletes. We all gotta survive and thrive by the same principles, the same mindset, similar stuff. And yeah, hopefully you liked it. And if you like this video, I know this one will help you